Well, thank you all for joining us. As part of our new season and back to school focus, we're going to be sharing some information about music and music rights. Music rights and legalities can be really confusing. People that are new to cheer and even some longtime coaches still don't realize that there are specific rights and licenses that need to be acquired for any group that's performing routines to music in public. And that's true whether it's a football halftime routine or a national competition routine that will get broadcast or live streamed. Just understand that buying the song off a streaming service or owning it in your own CD collection doesn't mean that you automatically have the rights to mix and perform it. So to help with educating coaches about these music requirements, we at USA Cheer have created a music education section of our site at usacheer.org/music that helps provide information about these rights, as well as a section where you can find existing licensed music, music providers who can create custom mixes, and licensed music catalogs where you or your music mixer can get properly licensed music. Speaking of music education, I have with me today one of the educational resources that we use for music education and information, and one of the music licensing catalogs that you'll find on our list, Click and Clear. David Walsh and Chantel Epps with Click and Clear have been great in sharing their educational resources with us. They're one of the people that we go to when we have questions, and I've asked them to help give a quick overview to our coaches about what you need to know about music licensing and rights, and making sure that you're using music in a proper and legal way. So David and Chantal, take it away.
Thank you very much, Jim. Great to be here. We are going to do a very speedy run through of music rights, but you can always dig into things a little bit further by going to some educational resources. So just a quick intro. My name is Chantal and I'm the founder of Click and Clear. I set the company up really as really to bridge a gap between the music industry and cheerleading to solve those complex music licensing issues that we face and a lot of the confusion that was happening. I am a cheerleader myself, some medals and uniforms in the background there. And when the lawsuit happened in cheerleading, I was actually also working in music licensing myself and have relationships with the relevant organizations that led to Click and Clear having the backing of Sony Music, Warner Music, Universal Music Publishing, BMG, and so many more record labels and publishers. I know music rights are very complicated, and we're really here to help make it simple and have a wealth of resources to help you ensure that you are doing the right thing. As you all know, in cheerleading, we love to use well-known music and mash up that music, creating mixes to accompany our routines. And that music is owned by other people. So we need to make sure that we're securing the rights that we need to use music legally. I have some slides with me, which we're going to take you through the breakdown of rights, and Dave is going to help explain those rights for us. So Dave, over to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, hi, I'm Dave, and I work at Click and Clear with Chantal, mainly doing deals with the record labels and publishers that we work with. So I kind of deal with this stuff all day, every day. So I think taking a step back to start with, it's the best way of fixing this in your mind is to kind of understand the fact that all these different rights derive from the fact that the music is owned by somebody, both the people that recorded the track and the writers of the song. And so in order to do anything with that music, and literally anything, you kind of need to have a license from them, their permission to do that. And so starting off with focusing on the performers and the team who are using the music, obviously the first step is to make sure that the mix, when it's created, you have the rights to do that. So you need the rights to edit and adapt the song into a derivative work and put beats to it, voiceovers, and so on. Shifting now to the team who are going to perform to that mix, first thing you need to do is set some choreography to the mix. So you need to choreograph your routine. Again, that's a separate right that you need to have, and then make copies of the mix to distribute around your team for training preparation. And then finally, you actually need a right to actually perform the routine in public with the mix. And this is, just to be clear, this is separate from the performing right, which is a very badly named right that just allows people to play music in a public place in a venue. Worth touching on video briefly in this section as well. basically talking to our rights holders there, basically the vast majority of them are happy for you to use your licensed mix in a non-commercial social media post. So you can upload to Facebook and YouTube, because those platforms have been licensed already by the music industry, as long as you've licensed the adaptation and choreography rights and so on for it. And all that will happen is that they'll choose to monetize that music rather than taking down, although they do fundamentally reserve the right to take things down if for some reason they really are upset by what's going on in the video. So we can't 100% guarantee that. However, if you want to use the music to promote your gym, for example, in a routine online, you need a commercial sync license to do that, and Click and Clear can offer those to you. Shifting focus towards event producers and perhaps national or international federations here as well. I've already mentioned the performing right license, which is licensed exclusively by collecting societies, which is really just a kind of an old-fashioned way of saying playing music in a public venue, which could be physical or online. And the only place you can get that is from a collecting society, but you really shouldn't need to worry about that because the venue where you're competing should have that. As an event producer, you may be then wanting to use footage of the competition to perhaps even sell DVDs and other memorabilia. You may well want to live stream your event. You may want to create a video demand catch-up of the event, whether that be free to access or monetized by you. And at the, I guess, the very top end of the pyramid, you may well want to license the event to media, linear media broadcasts like TV. So we actually are very well aware of these type of rights. We have them all these rights, and we have been very clear from the outset that we wanted to offer rights that span the whole Cheer ecosystem, really, from the producers making the mix down to TV broadcasting companies.
Thanks, Dave. And so talking about all of those rights, it's important to add that you need all of those bundles of rights for both the master and publishing sides of music. So the master side covers the recording of a song, the recording artist, and is generally represented by record labels. Then you have the publishing side, which covers the written lyrics and melodies of the music, the songwriters, which is typically represented by music publishers. So, for example, if you're using Katy Perry Firework, Katy Perry's record label, I believe is Sony, would own the master rights, and Katy Perry, along with a number of other writers, will share the publishing rights together. But now let's say Dave wants to create a cover version of Katy Perry's Firework. You must listen to it. That cover version he has created is a new recording of that song. So therefore, he now owns those master rights. But Katy Perry still wrote that song with her other co-writers and therefore still owns the publishing rights. So in the case of cover music, the master rights may be obtainable from the new cover music person or artist, but those publishing rights are still required to be cleared from the songwriters or music publishers themselves. And so how do you actually use music legally? Well, there are a few different options to use music. The first is to use music in the public domain. That's music that is now out of copyright. There is no database that tells you what music is in public domain and which isn't. You do have to understand copyright law expiration dates in various countries, and the term of copyright does differ between the master and publishing sides of music. So generally, though, we're talking about music like Mozart, Beethoven, and so on, music from way back when, where those people are no longer in the world. Second option is to use original music. So that's something that's completely unique and new, created for your team, that doesn't use any third-party music. So it's completely custom made and original. Might be a composer or a music producer who's created their own beats and songs, and they've done that for you. The third option is production music, which is generally cheaper, more affordable music. It's not usually released on platforms like Spotify. And the history of production music was really to support TV and advertising and film. And so many TV producers, but also now music producers, do use production music as kind of backgrounds for voiceovers and to use beats, so they're not having to create everything from scratch all of the time. And Click and Clear work with a lot of major music production music libraries and do have a range of options on our platform as well. Then the final option is that you can use commercial music, which is music that you know and love from the original artist, be it Katy Perry or Ed Sheeran or Little Mix. And when the initial issues around licensing came about, teams kind of thought that you could only use cover versions, but actually you can legally use the original versions of songs because Click and Clear have made it possible for you. We've included all of the bundle of rights Dave talked about that you need for both the master and publishing sides in one place. Whereas with cover music or music from elsewhere, you do still need to make sure that all of those rights Dave talked about are included in your license agreement and that they cover both the master and publishing sides for the music. So Click and Clear offer a huge catalogue of instantly licensable music direct from the music industry, with all of the rights that you need as a cheerleading team, all the way up to the rights that even Flow Sports and others may need as well. We are working with over 800 record labels and music publishers, Sony, Warner, Universal Music Publishing, who I've mentioned before. And actually, we've made the use of commercial music not be overly expensive. You can actually license music, and that's the original kind of hits, from sort of $10 to $25 per track, per mix for 1 year's use on the platform. It's a growing catalogue of hundreds of thousands of songs from up and coming to well-known artists. And we also provide legal indemnity. So you can either come onto the platform and license music yourself, create your own mix, or you can hire a music producer to make that mix for you. But we're really here as a resource to help you secure all of the rights that you need for cheer, so that you can go ahead and do what you do best, which is getting out to competition. So I hope that this has been helpful. A helpful introduction into the rights that you need for cheerleading and how to use music legally. If you do have any questions, please do get in touch. If you want to dig into music rights a little bit further, I literally could talk about this for hours and hours on end. So I can't bore you on that today, but you can visit our website where there's further educational information. We have information specific to all of the different sports that we're working with. So you can go on there and select cheerleading and get further information that you need from there. So that's everything from us. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for being here. I like how you started off explaining how confusing and difficult it can be, because this is really where we started several years ago when this whole thing came down. And it wasn't that suddenly you needed to start using music the right way in cheer. It was suddenly we realized that we had not been using music the right way in cheer, right? And so when that first came out, it was all of those, oh my gosh, how in the world am I as a cheer coach? Or if I'm a music mixer, we used to mix our own music when I cheered at Kentucky. We took all of our cassette tapes and put them on the floor and went with a dual cassette deck and spliced them together. And that's just what we did. Well, how am I supposed to go get all that information and all those rights and licenses from these different artists? And, I don't have Katy Perry's phone number in my speed dial or any of her people. So really, when people like you guys came along to put that together and be that conduit so that you have done all of that, and then when you get this song in your catalog, you know that it's already has all of those things that you need, especially the fact that you understand cheer and you work with all these different organizations. That really has made it where all those things that it starts sounding so confusing at the beginning become much easier, right? And so whether you are, again, if you're mixing it yourself, you've got your, editing software and you want to do it, or you have someone who can do it for you, or you want to find someone who's on our list. Again, we have music providers who create custom music. Some of them even have their own libraries of things that they have already put together. So if you want something that's just a halftime routine that nobody else is going to see, it doesn't matter if 8 other teams have used that same piece of music out of that library, right? So you can get that really cheap, easy, and ready to go right off the shelf, or you can get someone to custom mix it using those people that are in our list who've agreed to follow music copyright law, using the catalogs like Click and Clear that are on our list that already have all of these things in place. That's really the way to go. That makes it easier for you as a coach. Again, thank you so much for all that information. Reminding everybody that we have links to the Click and Clear site and the education on our musical education resources page at usacheer.org/music. You can also find an FAQ there that we review and update as things change. And of course, you can find those music providers and catalogs that Chantal mentioned, along with Click and Clear, right there on the site as well. So double check your music as you go into this new year. Make sure that you're following music copyright law, and everyone have a great upcoming season. Thank you very much again, guys.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.